welcome in to this week's episode of Unrolled Stories, a D&D campaign set in the world of Elvoria. We are back with these wonderful humans to roll some dice, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. Sadly, Andrew can't join us because apparently he is cursed with D&D right now. Hopefully we will have him back soon, and Ximori antics will pick up. But at the top, as always, just run through the announcements. If you're looking for new dice, or perhaps a brand new dice tray for your next game of Daggerheart, D&D, or, I don't know, Monopoly, head over to Dakota Irish to grab yourself some beautiful dice to suit all of your TTRPG and board game, apparently, needs. You can get 10% off at checkout with the code TheWelshDM, or follow the link in the description below to get that as well. As a reminder, you can listen to all episodes of Unrolled Stories as a podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for all of your non-YouTube needs. And if you do give the episode a listen there, please do like, review, star, whatever it is, to help it find other listeners. In this game, we do make use of the Reimagined Classes, all 4 of them. They are available on the DM's Guild as a bundle, allowing you to embody Balrick, Lesley, Aderyn, or Ximori at your tables, or whatever horrifying version of them you wish. And as always, NPC art and character art was done by Aderyn and Giolini. Go support them on their Art Venturing Guild on Patreon. And Chibi battle map art was done by WeTheDreamingDesigns. Definitely check them out if you can and support real artists. With all of that out of the way, I think it's time to continue telling our story. Previously, you went back to the Vashar camp after having saved the townsfolk of Kirudrona to properly cleanse it out and make sure the vermin of the Mora foothills did not return. And in the process, hoped to learn a little bit more about these monsters, what they were, where they came from. While you were there, you mercilessly cut down the demagogue who had previously interrogated and disfigured your priest friend Cyric. And afterwards, you cleared out the camp trying to learn everything you could, some of which you probably wish you didn't learn. Tauri taking a detailed account of everything that was written down for posterity. You also acquired the hefty geode of what the Vashar in their language translated to common, named Wordstone. And Aderyn found it to be something substantially more esoteric and ephemeral than perhaps first thought. Before you departed, though, Arquen invoked the power of his patron, one that he doesn't quite fully understand still, to aid in the cleansing of the Vashar camp and hopefully reclaim it to be something better in the future. With all of that, you headed out on the road and began your long 200-odd mile journey to Andemon. Some of you worked on projects, Balrick scouting out a new secret compartment for the wagon, Tauri digging into their runecraft continued, and being handed a broken magical lamp by Balrick that was picked up in a swamp many weeks ago. And some of you talked about pasts that you don't quite remember but hope to maybe together learn about in the future. Until eventually your destination came in sight. Turning off the Merchant Way and onto the Atlas Road that leads down to the capital city of the Empire, the view is stunning to even those of you who have been here before. The early afternoon sun catching on the waves of the Tyson Sea, small shapes of merchant ships catching the breeze with their dragon wing-shaped sails. The city itself, even from this distance, exudes an aura of majesty, history, and being full to the brim. The haphazard arrangement of the inner walls showcasing its steady expansion through the centuries, a handful of clear landmarks just rising above the rooftops. The St. Manaz Basilica, the centre of the Jadenite Church, the Ji-Shen Palace, home to the royal family, the campus of the Louisiane College, where Tauri had previously studied, the towers of the Halls of Inquisition, where you probably don't want to end up, the Grand Forum, Shenzo's Gardens, each one famous for their history and culture. And then there is you, rolling your wagon down the broad paved road in amongst the varying other traffic heading to and from the gates. Watchtowers carved with snarling lion statues line the roadsides at regular intervals. Dozens of other wagons are on the road with you, carrying all sorts of merchantry and other commerce. Ahead, the Atlas Gates, the grand ornate entryway into the city awaits. Broad, solid steel, decorated to depict the arrival of Rethmexiel Pureheart, the first emperor, to the city of Asavar with silver plating. Welcome to Andemon. What would you like to do?
Sell horses. Horse trading. First.
Sell all the horses.
Well, however many we get rid of. Anyway, that's not important. We can come back to that.
It's at this moment
We'll get the
because you're
horses
just observing everything, and Arquen is talking to you about horses. Your hearing goes a little muffled as a spell washes into your mind. You hear, Mr. Balrick, there is a concern that the package has yet to arrive in the hands of Lady Luck. Glide has requested an update on its delivery.
Oh shit. We were busy. Dealt with some issues on the road. Don't worry. We're entering Andemon now. Should have the package delivered in the...
You get a fairly swift reply. This spell can be tricky, but that is excellent to hear. I will pass on the message to Glide and give our best to Lady Luck.
So anyway, that's why I think we should sell the all the horses, but
Okay, Arquen, please stop. I'm talking to someone.
Yes, me. What?
What do I need to ask again? Thank you. We'll have it done soon.
You do eventually get, you do shortly afterwards get a reply in between Arquen talking about horses that you just pick up.
The horses, okay.
I like also the idea that you are literally stood there like, saying it very slowly to no one.
When I could talk, I'm like, stop talking.
You get a reply of just simply referring to a package having glided in the afternoon, but Lady Luck should suffice.
I will not respond. Well, maybe just a thank you.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the road. I might have blanked out of it, but what is it that we're here to do, by the way? Obviously, I don't have much in the way of business here, other than selling some horses and seeing if I can trigger any kind of memory surge or anything like that. But why did we come here?
I can't. Oh, I said all that message. Imagine all that message, but in a Scottish accent again. Sorry. What are we doing? Scotland.
Question of accents.
We've all kind of never accompanied me. I'm here on business. I've got a delivery to make. I don't know if I actually said I've. It's not the cleanest job, but I'm sort of a delivery person, in a way. But aside from that, I think we're just figuring out what we're doing. The thing we needed. Oh no, mate, you were there. We need to warn people with fired guy. What's his name again?
Say that all again.
What are their name? What's their name again?
Amhrain.
Amhrain.
Amhrain. I think we all. Sorry, it's been a busy few weeks. I'm doing all the organisation for everyone right now, and it's getting to me a little bit. What was the thing we were doing with Amhrain as well?
We were waiting for Amhrain to get back to us, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. Bit of a loose end, I think.
There are 3 favours?
We did one.
Only 2 now. We did 1.
Clarify, did you guys tell those of us that were like unconscious slash
Oh, yeah, do we know?
basically dead?
I don't think we did.
Okay, are you discussing it openly now? Okay.
Well,
There was a bit of discussion when we were by the forest temple about the favours and shit.
Yeah, you kind of said there was some things to be doing. Oh, it was Arquen unconscious at the time. Was Arquen one of the people?
I was dead, yes. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me, you, and Lesley.
No, it was Ximori. Lesley died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was. Never mind then. There was just some things with Amhrain. But I think.
The ones that die.
Yes, I think we're waiting for them to get back to us about them doing some things, gathering their raiment and whatnot, and then they'll let us know when it's ready to continue. But no, we're just here on other business, I think.
Well, I've got my business.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind doing some research while.
Yeah, I think a couple of people came just because this is, it's the centre of learning for the Empire, isn't it? So I know Aderyn, you wanted to search some stuff, didn't you, as well?
Yes, I have very important research to conduct.
Cyric turns around you, just like, indeed. If you want to help me at all, it's much appreciated. I'm not entirely sure that what I'll be researching is pertinent to an expert in dragonology, but I might reach out to you while you're in the city. At which point,
We'll gladly welcome your assistance and will assist you in return.
it doesn't escape any of your notice that you are getting quite a lot of attention as you ride towards the city gates. In normal circumstances, having 4 well-bred black crest horses would be enough to get the eye of most travellers. But that fact is kind of a passing fancy when Derek is walking right beside the cart.
As obviously we've already mentioned, starting to fill out a little bit. Less Komodo dragon, crocodile is a little bit more on all fours. Kind of horse-sized now.
He's built pony.
Like very rideable. And his wings are starting to fill out and he's been stretching out, and we've had moments during the last few bits of travelling where he's been gliding a little bit. Bounding along.
A question for you, Chris, because conceptually, most crystal dragons in this setting are more in the kind of Asian design, in not winged per se, and more just float by telepathic means.
Serpentine.
Derek does have wings. Some gem dragons, as Aderyn has seen in their visions, like to take on the appearance of wings that are more like disconnected, almost peacock feathers rather than necessary for flight. What does Derek's look like?
I think Derek, purely based on what I think Balrick's image, I think Derek is more projecting Balrick's imagery of what a dragon should be, and obviously Balrick's lived in the north where the dragons we'd have seen would have been white dragons and stuff like that, and more classic dragons. So whether it's actually what he needs to fly, whether it should look like that, he's maybe subconsciously chosen to take on that imagery.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
So it is using the fly. It looks very classic dragon. Almost looks like a white dragon, but obviously has that well, at the moment, a white dragon, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Obviously has that shimmer, that opalescence to it.
Yeah. Yeah, his diamond white scales are currently kind of catching the sunlight, and like rainbow patterns are being kind of scattered out onto the road as you walk. Cyric kind of taking this in just after finishing conversation with Aderyn, just my fine compatriots, remember how I spoke about choosing a name for yourself before reputation chooses one for you? Have you given thought to how you're going to handle the presence of Deck within Andemon? Drakes, in their more common form, aren't unheard of, but they don't exactly have the bearing of Deck. Those of you who have been around, like, what are referred to as drakes are, like, at best riding lizards. They're, like, very muted scales. They're more like what an everyday Earth lizard would look like. They're not as regal or obviously something other like Deck.
Well, Balrick, you're his dad. What?
Well, I mean, we dealt well in Giordothras. We got a lot of attention though, and ideally we're not looking for attention. I don't know that we can avoid it though. I think we're just going to have to deal with it. Very open at the start.
If you wish, I can certainly start conversations with the church. Perhaps handle messaging in a way that is somewhat more beneficial to you. Just want to know an idea of what that would look like.
PR guy.
He's your in at the church.
Problem is, we don't really want that much of a reputation, do we? Or at least Balrick
bit late.
doesn't. Balrick's very much a, let's just go home and be quiet and live a quiet life. And then Dragon Jesus turned up.
Late for that, I'm afraid, Balrick.
Much too late.
Yeah, a bit late to be quiet. Alright, yeah, you can let the church know. Just, I think, let them know we're here to help if needed. We're just trying to do good deeds while we're here.
I will do my best to temper excitement, considering the nature of tomorrow.
Yeah. There's no, big celebrations planned, is there? Like last time.
At this point, like, Ximori, like, raises his hand and Cyric's like, tomorrow is, one of the bigger festivals of the year.
And maybe we'll just come back to Andemon in a week.
I think that's an option.
Camp outside the city for a week.
At this point, as you're like riding in, you're now kind of close enough and far enough down the bank towards the city. Which, by the way, Hugh, as someone who would understand this city is a terrible defensive location. But that's how secure the Empire is, that they just don't care.
Yeah.
But you can see two slums outside the city walls, kind of backed up against the walls and squeezed in between the cliffs that surround this.
Rome was under siege multiple times throughout its history and fell pretty much every time, because it's just like, what are you going to do, eh?
Religious significance means too much. But yes, Cyric just sends you, I suppose, I occasionally forget that not all of you were brought up here. Entombment Day is tomorrow. You all experience Tianlong in my city. It's not quite as religious as that 3-day festival. The city won't shut down by any means. It will instead be focusing on genuine celebrations. And he kind of looks around at the various, like, slightly glazed looks from most of the... Like, Ximori is invested, but most of the group is like, what are you talking about? I'll give you the short version then. Entombment Day is the day in which Rithmexiel Pureheart, the first Emperor and child of Kelarashi, went into the Jade Caves in Faith School and never returned, believing to have returned to her side. So it is a blended nature of a festival between celebrating the hero that saved the people of Vathaline and founded the Jade Empire, and therefore by extension the Imperial family and their role in guiding the Empire to where it is today. I expect Malachi Teotzedan will make a public appearance tomorrow, so you might want to take a try and avoid political parties at least for 2 days before they try and rope you into anything.
Did anything come out of the cave?
He was never seen again. All that was left behind when his heir, his daughter, walked in was the 3 holy vestiges, which have since then become symbols of the throne.
So he just disappeared.
He returned to our Dragoness's side, as was always the intent as the child. He came, saved us from the predations of fiend and horrors, and as was his right, returned.
Was the Dragoness inside the cave?
I don't believe so. At least scriptures don't say anything to it.
So it implies he died.
That is an interpretation. Yes.
Then
Went to.
surely that interpretation is wrong, because if he returns to the Dragoness's side by dying, that would imply the Dragoness is also dead.
This is
Not
a
necessarily.
philosophical discussion on the nature of souls and the afterlife that I'm well prepared to have with you, and don't mind having it, but maybe we should do it over a glass of wine.
Oh, a date. Okay.
To get into the
Certainly.
to get into the city, is there any kind of sort of like toll or guard or like?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, as you're pulling up to the city, there are scale guards kind of manning the Atlas gates and people in and out, but all they are doing is essentially managing traffic, because this is such a busy entrance to the city. Holding this up,
I've got
would be
high-vis
a
scale mail
nightmare.
on.
So what they do instead, as you pull up, I assume Balrick driving the cart, you are directed by these scale guard to pull up at a berth just inside the Atlas gate. You can see at this point a large courtyard, essentially, and by large I mean massive, with a number of like marked out bays which a number of carts are in. There's open ways for like foot traffic and horses to continue moving through, but it does seem every
It's a car park.
every cart is being pulled over and having then everyone in a fairly similar uniform, a kind of light brown tan set of clothing with a cinch belt, a clipboard, and a small like money purse to one side. Everyone seems to have one of these people turning up to it. You kind of get directed into this bay, and one of these individuals, a dwarf, female dwarf, rolls up, kind of strawberry blonde hair with like the standard like female dwarf beard. That's not quite as long as the men's, but like sits there nicely on the chin. Just walks up. She's like, right then, cart inspection it is. What are we carrying in with us to the city today?
Do we need an individual one for each horse as well, or is there like a motorbike parking area?
Your passive perception is high. It looks like only carts, wagons, those things get pulled over. Foot traffic, direct horse traffic, not pulled over.
Yeah. I'll go over as well and sort of dismount a sort of showy display. Probably
All right.
again completely overthrown by the presence of a fucking dragon.
Yeah, you see this? You see actually with hold on. Tauri's the one with the passive insight. You see this woman, this female dwarf, walk up, like clock this dragon, go, like deep DVSA, like DVLA sigh of like I'm gonna have to deal with that, and then
There's going to be so much paperwork for this damn
and then
interaction.
just turn to Balrick of just like so.
Filing back through the memory of the training to see if there's anything listed under like religious icons being brought into the city. Like, there are tax for that.
Yeah, it just turns to Balrick. What are you transporting?
Nothing to declare.
Got some supplies with us as well. You know, rations, timber.
Do you mind if we inspect the cart just to see?
Yeah, can I clarify that Derek has the satchels on him?
If not, maybe they're in the secret compartment you started building.
Secret compartment isn't built yet; it's only planned.
Yeah.
She jumps.
It's been sort of. It's been drawn out with chalk with secret compartment plans put over the top of it.
She steps up into the back of the wagon. Lesley, you're just lounging back there, I assume. See this? Just
Lesley, put some clothes on.
Middle-aged, like slightly below Bella wants to get involved. There's a dog in the courtyard. There's this like middle-aged dwarf woman just like hauled up in the cart and like, are you cargo?
Oh, I do have quite the package.
Very good. Now, if you don't mind, I need to take a look around. So if you want to step out the cart.
Is there anything illicit in the back of the cart?
I've given the illicit thing to Derek.
Cool. Then Leslie's gonna swagger out.
It looks like horse saddlebags. It's the same as a horse has.
Roll me a persuasion check, Lesley. For the swagger. Yeah.
So, can it be performance or something?
Sure, performance.
Thank you for not making me do persuasion. Oh, it's the same actually. It's a 15.
15. There's a momentary glance back at you before going back through the cargo. Chris, for the record, what is actually back here? Approximately.
In the wagon,
yeah,
there should just be
cushions, baby.
Timber and rations. I think there's rations. There's a box with a collapsible fishing rod and tackle in it. There's a fishing box.
She jumps back down out of the cart.
Grappling hook.
This timber.
Planning on doing any fishing in the city? You'll need a license for that.
This timber, you're planning on selling it in the city, or is it for personal use?
No, it's for repairs and upgrades to the wagon. It's a relatively new one. You can see it's quite I've fixed it up a little bit, but it needs touching up and stuff.
As you're describing.
You only need to tell them what the purpose, what the exact use is for. You don't need to tell them anything more than that. Just personal use. That's all you need to know.
Is the dragon yours?
I mean, I don't. He's his own being, but
Sure. Everyone's mounts are their own being, but are they with you?
He's not a mount. He's to describe it.
Whatever.
Do you speak Draconic?
Aye, a little.
He's a ward.
Derek Salo. Derek Salo.
Derek just there and gutturally growls something that is vaguely resembling with Draconic. Just like.
It's not a normal Drake.
Well, regardless, what's in the saddlebags?
Just some personal effects.
Roll me deception.
Can I sort of give a bit of advantage by saying is that no, I thought this was a cart check, as you stated when we agreed to the search.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Cool. Not useful with my -2, so 8.
Can
Fucking hell.
can Lesley also improve that with some sort of thing?
There was someone here who
in
could
this
do
moment, she
it.
tells you, she goes, I've been around. I've seen plenty of folks trying to get away with putting bags on their horses instead of in their cart, and it's still part of your transportation. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a look. At this point, Lesley, if there's anything you want to do.
Got a warrant?
Take a look. You're gonna have to convince Dirk. He gets real protective of his things. And I'm gonna mentally tell Dirk, like, really scary.
Jackson's like, Dick, like, shoulders up in that moment.
Smile.
And Leslie's going to use Commanding Presence to show off some of the like scars that he's got from his near-death experience, his actual death experience.
Okay.
And be like, yeah, I wouldn't. He's generally quite a nice guy, but he doesn't like it when you get near his saddlebags. He's quite precious. It's his food. He's a growing lad.
Roll me deception.
As stated, the dragon is in fact a sentient and sapient creature, and therefore anything would constitute
You are not the lawyer here. Tauri can say this.
search of the bot.
You have an intelligence of 8. Be quiet.
Lawyer is a sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen.
Bring you on mute.
Yeah. All of that.
That's why it's Arquen doing it. He's doing the whole like, oh, what's the term? And over in America, he's doing the whole sovereign citizen thing.
Yeah.
Because his intelligence is low, he thinks it's going to work.
By the way, Lesley, you can have advantage. Deck is helping you by looking intimidating.
It's a 27 without, so I don't know. I think we're okay.
She's like, okay, well, probably not worth my time or the guilds. Very well. Well, are you up to date with taxes?
What are the?
Someone say yes.
You'll have to ask our bank.
It's just there's a little bit more in here than for.
Yeah, do you
There's
pay
a
your
little bit
vehicle
more
tax?
in here than just personal use. You've got a number of horses with you. You got the cart. I just want to make sure that everything's on the up and up before letting you go.
Of course.
We pay.
Yes, they are.
And lastly, are any of you a member of the guild? Carter's Guild, specifically.
No.
That won't give you a discount. Are you looking to keep this cart stored while you're in the city?
Ideally.
Yeah.
Well, since you're not members of the guild, that'll be 5 silver pieces a day. We can store it up for you over there, and points towards a kind of cart park with a rough awning on top of it.
What about the artist discount? For traveling.
That's good.
Business rate.
If you're not part of the Carter's Guild, I can't be offering you the discount.
If it's only 5 silver, I'll chuck a 5 gold.
Become a member. Is there a free trial?
No. But you might want to look at registering. If you're going to be maintaining a cart, it could offer you a decent entryway into merchantry and all of that. Might be useful to you. So throw up 5 gold. So that's 10 days paid for up front for the cart.
That's it. We're not doing adventuring anymore. We're becoming carters.
Well, in that case, take what you want from the wagon. Take this, and she pulls out from a pouch like a small wooden token that you can see has the symbol of a wheel just carved into it. I assume it's similar to the Carver's Guild. Use this, and if you ever want to get back to your cart, load anything up or take anything out, or just take it out, and we'll park it up for you.
Are there stables we can, livery stables and the like we can go and
Oh yeah, that's got nothing to
keep
do
the
with us.
horses in.
You'll find them somewhere down there. And points in the direction
cool.
where the roads.
I'll go and handle that.
Horse stabling per horses, 1 silver a day for per horse.
Cool. Oh, yeah. So we've got 5 horses.
Yes, because you've got 1 pulling the wagon.
So I'll do another 10 gold then, because that'll be another 10 days for the lot.
Arquen really got some money and immediately went, I don't like this. I don't want it.
I don't fucking need this. Fine.
I'll take it from you. It's fine.
You don't need this. I'll also inquire, and if we were looking to sell the horses, we're looking to stay in Andemon for a while, probably be travelling on by mail coach and the like after this. They were useful for when we were travelling, but
it's not much of a horse buying city, but I'm sure you can find someone probably here in the in the upper city.
They are prime stock. Is there any bring stables out in the country or anything like that?
There's nearby ones. I mean, most horses are bought and sold for out on the Dragon Crest coast, but I personally don't know anyone that would be looking to buy horses. The guild kind of just gets them on bulk order, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a particularly nice buyer, because they do look like pretty good horses.
Yeah, indeed. Cost us a pretty penny when we got them. Deception. That's 20.
I'd probably try Dancing Rabbit. A lot of folks like to share news and stories in there, so...
Thank you.
No worries.
Cool.
We'll take this now, and you see them motion over another member of the carting guild, like a valet, to come over and lead your horse away, and go park your cart in the cart wagon. And you are now within the city. There is a level of noise just ambiently echoing off the buildings and the walls of this city. You can see walls that stretch out into the city, dividing it up into places. You, based on that conversation and Tauri and Ximori's prior knowledge, you are currently in what is referred to as the upper city. One part of a larger section of the city referred to as Greater Andemon. Tauri, the upper city largely exists to facilitate a large amount of traffic moving in and out of the city. So the roads are wide and the buildings are packed in tight here. It is full of kind of your inns, your taverns, your places to stay, general stores, that kind of stuff. And that is currently the district you are in.
Arquen is immediately overwhelmed, having never been in a city larger than 1,000 people. Has never been in a city before. The largest settlement he's been in is the settlement that was blown up.
Yeah.
Right, shall we go and sort out the entire delivery? Looking at Balrick.
I think it's best if not everyone comes with. I look very, very specifically at Ximori for that, because obviously.
What time of day is it?
By the time you've entered and dealt with all that, you're kind of mid-afternoon, probably about 2, nearing 3-ish.
Why don't you and maybe Lesley head off and deal with that?
I mean,
like a bodyguard?
You can come as well, Arquen. I mean, it is a casino that I'm going to. If I know that some of you are.
I'm good.
What are you called? Undesirables. I'm sure you'll love. That. But city's yours. Arquen, whoever wants to come with can come with. I just think that they'd be my clients will be uncomfortable with too big a presence.
Cyric just momentarily pops into this conversation. She's like, I have no interest in that. I'm going to head to the Jade Basilica. Hopefully, First Soul Caillou is not busy with the preparations tomorrow and I can make my requisition. Hopefully, we'll see each other in the city. If you do have need for me for whatever reason, just ask one of the aides at the Basilica for me. and if any of you, and she like turns to Aderyn specifically, if you find out anything about that word stone, I'd appreciate you sharing the information.
I imagine Ximori would probably follow them because Ximori would want to like pray and stuff.
Oh, actually, that's. I appreciate the company for the walk. It's a fairly long walk from here, actually. Still, you can kind of see just even from here, it rises above the inner walls of the city. You can see like this domed, like pale green dome, just rising a little bit above the walls into the city.
Or less.
What did you
Sort of
say?
St. Paul like.
Yes.
Where you can see it from everywhere.
Yeah. Oh well. And do let me know where you end up staying. In case we want to have that drunken discussion of afterlife philosophy. Been a while since I've been so willing to engage in those conversations. I look forward to it.
Since Sirik is native here, I'll say is like I was told to go to the Dancing Rabbit for horse talk.
Honestly, I'm not actually
horse
from
selling talk.
I'm from
Sorry?
Genofras. I've only been to the city.
Do you know anything about the city?
Not much, I'm afraid.
I'll be able to find out where we.
Before you go about selling horses, just make sure no one's going attached to theirs. I know you have.
I've named, yeah. But, alright.
We'll check in with everybody if they actually want to sell them. But you're right, we should get them sold.
Cool.
Maybe this Dancing Rabbit is some sort of inn, and we might be able to get a place to stay there as well.
Yeah. Cool.
So
all right.
like shoulders up their pack and heads off with Sirik engaging in some light discussion about what tomorrow could entail with the Entombment Day celebrations as they wander off into the crowd and the remaining 5 of you, 6 including Derek. You are given a lot of space. This place is busy. You don't feel it. People are like staring at it and walking away at a close, like a safe distance.
That kid is big and scary looking now. He's a. I think head doesn't quite come to my head yet.
Yeah.
But I think head is like 6 foot tall, maybe.
Yeah, Derek is taller than all of you, bar the Goliath.
And Arquen, I reckon.
Arquen's only taller because his neck grew a little bit during the incident.
What's it called? Is it trophism? Is it trophism where plants grow by just adding layers on?
Yeah.
But yes.
Does Arquen have rings?
Sorry?
Does Arquen have rings?
Have rings indeed. You'll have to cut me open and find out.
You could head off and like see how old he is.
Ximori comes back around with his glaive and just swipes the legs. Gatling? No, so, who is going to do what? Where are we going?
Are we all going to the thing? Tauri was going to offer to take Aderyn to the university. I'm going to go with the name.
College.
Fine. The college. To try and get her kind of like a week pass or a day pass to be able to do research tomorrow.
I would very much like that. I didn't even know you needed a pass.
Well, they don't normally let anyone in who isn't a alumni or a student there, so we would need to get you one to get you in.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, who wants to go first? As the nerds, aka the full spellcasters, head to school. The remaining 3 of you head to the Emerald Dune Casino.
Maybe before they go, Lesley might suggest looking between Dirk and Balrick, etc. Maybe Dirk shouldn't be associated with people who are doing shady business. We might be less recognizable without this handsome fella. And maybe like hanging out with Aderyn and Tauri at the university for a little bit. Just a thought. I know you don't like them either.
Yeah, you make a good point. I think he'd draw a lot of attention to what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, Dirk. Go accompany. It'll give you guys some legitimacy as well, maybe. Go stick with them, alright? Take care of Aderyn.
Derek, sorry, I was just wondering. Derek just kind of looks at you. Yes, boss.
Sure thing, boss.
Fucking mafia gangster.
Oh
You
god,
have
I've got
been
to
around
stop.
a lot of mafia people. He's picking up on lingo.
Miles, I need to retire from the crime stuff now. Let's get into the
Look, when your children start seeing you in a particular way, it causes you to have reevaluate your life. I got them.
Oh,
Very cool suggestion, Lesley.
Which group wants to go first?
We'll let the criminals do it first.
Maybe.
You, Tauri. In the interest, just briefly, would Tauri, having been here to study and really only here for I think about 6 to 12 months, you weren't here a super long time, if I remember correctly.
No.
Do you think Tauri would have heard of the casino / frequented it?
Heard of, yes. Probably visited it once, maybe twice, but would probably have spent more time exploring the city and that kind of thing
that's fine.
rather than the casino. So she could possibly point a rough idea of where it might
It's
be.
enough to point them in the direction. You tell them it's not hard to find the casino in the fact that it borders 2 districts on the western side of the city, specifically the Dusk Ward and what are referred to as the Warrens. You don't have a lot of experience with the Warrens, learning very quickly that it is not a place for someone of your nature, but you would have had plenty of experience of the Dusk Ward. The Dusk Ward being the westernmost district of the city, and over the history of the city has evolved into essentially Broadway. It is the centre of arts and entertainment, lavish bars and upscale restaurants. It is essentially the nicer part of town, and it just so happens to have the city's only casino in it. So the 3 of you head in that direction. You eventually, winding your way through the cities, following the traffic, come to the Dusk Ward. And it's not hard to see why it's named that. The entire place is decorated in colours of orange and purples and pinks, taking on the presence of the setting sun kind of thing. Lesley, it is a paradise. There are fashion shops, there are high-end jewelry shops, there are people eating food out like on tables on wide verandas. Think very like Italy, Spain cities kind of thing, like layout of the streets. If it was in more like Paris weather. Paris weather at this point in mid-autumn.
Oh, autumn, okay.
Yeah, it is. Your eye is caught by a number of things, but Balrick does unfortunately keep you moving to head to the Emerald Dune.
We'll have time afterwards. It doesn't look like this place closes late.
The Emerald Dune stands out. It is a columned building that rises up steps into it. Decorated on the outside in different colours to the rest of the ward. It still has bits of that kind of golden yellow, but largely is this kind of deeper green decorating on the front, such that it both stands out and still just about fits in with the palette of the ward. And the entrance are 2 large statues of winged lions rearing up, and you can see at this point in the day not that much traffic in terms of like people heading in, but the doors are open, and you walk up the steps to enter, where you are met initially by these two kind of wearing tight leathers, essentially bouncers, who just kind of at the inner doors. So you walk through these large like stone doors to where there are the inner wooden doors. Rugs of like diamonded green and yellow carpets even underneath you, and chandeliers of lit flames. You can hear faint music from somewhere, and these two bouncers, a half-orc and a human, just kind of stand up before you just stop there and just like, do you mind just a little bit of a search down to make sure?
If the half-orc, I'll respond in Orcish. I speak Orcish. Absolutely, that's fine by me. Just coming with a package gliding in.
They lock eyes with you in that moment. They'll do the customary like pat down, check you for weapons. Who is carrying a weapon at this point? What weapons are people carrying?
I'm in full chainmail with a shield and sword and dagger.
You're gonna have to leave those here. You can reclaim them on your way back out.
I've got multiple knives and swords, and that's. But tell you what I do have. I've got the staff, and I'm like, the begrudging old man is staff though.
Roll me a persuasion check and don't biff it.
19 minus 2 is still a 17.
No, anything for you, old man. He like nudges you with his elbow, causing you to just like lean into the staff. But you're like ish. He's like,
I'm just a weak old man.
yeah. And then he just tries to nudge you, and you just like stand like a piece of rock. Lesley, did you give up your swords?
Can
Yeah.
Can I roll a sleight of hand for the black spike dagger being in my boot?
Sure. Make me a sleight of hand check.
It is.
Ain't gonna make.
What's that?
It is at this moment that Lesley does not.
21.
You got it. Lesley.
Maybe Sarah remembers. I don't know who has Leslie's knife. I want to say it's either Aderyn or Ximori.
It's gonna be one of
I
them.
think Ximori gave it
Or
back to you.
I think it was given back to me, but then I think in a very kind act, I gave it back to somebody. Oh man.
Big mistake. Well, even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you.
Presumably left in the battle camp now.
That's
It
the
was all
first
funny.
piece of merch. That's the second piece of merch for this campaign. First one is don't forget about Derek, or what about Derek? And this one is where is Leslie's knife?
Nobody can know. It's Schrodinger's knife, you know. Lesley has it until he asks if he has it, and then he doesn't, almost certainly. Yeah, so Lesley does have the dragonfly sword and the two scimitars. Can't really hide those.
Is Lesley the guy from One Piece? Holds one of the scimitars in his mouth.
Right, yeah.
He was just. If you ever saw somebody fighting like that, he would try and learn it. No, and he's got a little crossbow, handheld crossbow. Trying to work out if there's a way to hide that. I don't think there is either.
It's not a collapsible hand crossbow. The technology of it is a repeating hand crossbow.
It's a revolver with
Leslie does have to give up. Well, Leslie's gonna ask if he can hold on to the dragonfly sword, because it's more. It's very decorative, right? He's like, this is a very sentimental item. Rather not be without it. It's more decorative than anything.
No weapons inside the casino.
Yeah. Okay.
You can wait out here for your friends if you want to keep it.
I don't mind Lesley.
Arquen still has his gauntlets and helmet on.
Arquen's like, I'm completely unarmed.
No, Lesley will let it go. It's okay.
They're all placed inside a chest with a lockbox, and you are handed a key significantly for that box. So you have the key for the lockbox.
Right.
And then that is like gone and put on a shelf and like slid in. You can see that it's there. You have slot number 4.
Number 4. Note that down.
Done.
Cool.
At which point, if you'd like to follow me, and one of them just begins to like direct you through, push through, the other one stays there. You enter into this casino, and tables are like most are made out of wood. Here and there, you spot some seem to be made out of kind of a light sandstone. The main thing that picks up is like there is ambient music around here. You can just see like spotted throughout. Two of you got really high perception. Just at various points in this large open plan space, just a number of like bandstands with musicians on, just to have music playing around. There are no windows in here. Just the chandelier light setting this kind of faint, like dusk, like sunset light permanently. It's quite quiet in here. You can see a few tables playing here and there. But you are very quickly directed to a set of stairs up onto the side and directed upstairs until you come to these like large wood-paneled doors. And just like, just wait here for me. And you like open the door, heads in, and you are left momentarily outside to your own devices. If there's anything you want to discuss.
Neither of you two has to come in if you don't want. You can go down. You can enjoy the casino. I know that it's a bit of a stain. When it means
I meant to be very smart, but I am wise enough to know that I should not gamble.
Hold on, give me a second.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Just more of a. You're currently not associates of these guys, but once you go in, they'll know who you are.
Yeah, I'm associated with many a strange entity. These guys are low down on the list.
It's not the strangeness, it's more of a parasiticness. Latch on, it's hard to get off.
I have absolutely nothing for them to latch onto. I am a ghost.
Alright, Lesley, you're
What are you gonna do? Burn down my house, which doesn't exist.
Did Lesley come in the last time, actually?
Lesley came last time.
Leslie's already been. Lesley, you're getting a bit too used to meeting these guys. They might start including you in it.
Oh no, what a shame. Oh, I'm joking.
Yeah.
We'll go gambling after.
With that, the half-orc comes back out. It's like, and like pushes the door open. It's like, the lady will see you now.
I say an orcish thank you.
Shuts the door behind you, and you see him walk off. You now see into a plush office, essentially. A fireplace to one side, currently unlit. It's warm enough in here. A large, like, circular table sitting in the center of the room, and at a like drinks cabinet, pouring themselves a small drink, is a female elf with golden blonde hair. Kind of intertwined in it is like a word like a tiara, a headpiece of leaves and plant, like very subtle, just in there. Wearing a orange kind of Chinese style dress, just pouring themselves a drink, and just like turns their head over to the back of you. She turns around to kind of she immediately kind of locks in on Lesley as the one who is perhaps more conventionally attired for this kind of scene. It's like,
What are you talking about?
I hear a package has glided in for me.
Aye, I'll bring a promised dream for Lady Luck.
Ah, wonderful. I was wondering when that delivery would arrive. Thank you for arriving. She like momentarily thinks. Eventually. Come, please. Take the package out, lay it on the table. Say it's this nice wooden box, decent construction, not too ornate enough to draw attention, but enough to be some sort of gift. I assume you like slide it over to her on the table.
Yep.
She like undoes the latch, opens it up. Excellent. Closes it back down. You can see that upon opening it, I'd say the two of you with really high perception, you can see there was like a faint wax seal along the line. So it was not visible from the outside. You would never be able to tell it was there, but as soon as it was opened, you can see that wax seal got cracked. And she's just like, Arquen?
Just being out of his element and having no weapons on him and the like, keeping a very sharp eye on the room, just for traps or ambushes, and also just sort of for her expressions and the like.
Certainly. You can see the back wall of this room does have like a curtain along the full back of it. Roll me it'll be a perception check, I guess, because you're not like digging around.
What? Sorry.
Perception.
24.
24. You can't distinctly make out for it, but that curtain rail is a good 2 feet off the back wall, and you're like, it's unlikely that this woman doesn't have some sort of protection in here just in case, and they're probably just like a secret alcove back there to present whatever. But beyond that, you're just like, this is a very nice plush discussions room more than anything else.
Also thinking, that curtain rail's quite a good weapon. Push
It
comes
is like
to shove.
up along this this.
Yeah.
This room is actually fairly tall. It's like a weirdly vaulted ceiling.
Leslie's got jumps. It's okay.
Upon closing back down the lid, she does look back up at you. She's like, was there any payment required, or did Glide take care of that?
Remember, I think this was a favour. Was this a favour? This was a favour. Well, I'd love to say I for payment. I have to be honest. This was a repaying of a favour.
That is his way. I respect your honesty and candour in that moment. Well, good to know that there are still worthwhile delivery men out there. And she moves it to one side. Are you looking for any other work, or is our business concluded?
I think our business is concluded.
Very well. Well, please do enjoy the floor. My casino is open to you. If there is nothing
Nice
else,
floor.
we're done here.
Thank you very much.
You head out.
Please,
Arquen looking quizzically at the floor is like, this is a nice floor.
if you have a way to just send a confirmation message back, wouldn't want any wrong ideas being given.
Certainly, that can be achieved.
Arquen, that's
Change
not
your
what she
mind
meant.
over work. You know where I am.
Right, I know where you are.
Leslie's gonna reach out and do offer his hand to kiss hers in one of those really horrible cringy.
Roll me a persuasion check.
We haven't showered for a while, I guess.
Bathhouse.
Aderyn's got
Prestidigitation.
Yeah.
Got soap hands.
I always imagine the prestidigitation never makes you feel clean though.
No, you smell clean.
Like the dirt is off, the odour is off, but you're there bing.
Arquen permanently smells of sandalwood, so.
Yeah, the wood that is used for sandals. It stinks.
Oh my goodness. That was a natural 20.
She looks at you with a glint in the eye. Just extends the hand out towards you. And just in that moment, as Balrick and Arquen are kind of heading out, and in that moment you kiss her hand. She just looks at you and just goes, I imagine you're someone who hears a lot of things. I do appreciate knowing things. If you hear anything interesting, and then just
I know where to find you. Leslie's gonna scurry off.
As we walk downstairs, I do go, they put on a really nice show, don't they? Don't get fooled by it. Absolute scum.
Are there drinks trays being just, sort of around or anything like that?
There is a few bars dotted around, mostly on the walls. So the bars are kind of like the edge of the room. It seems at this point, I mean, you wouldn't know. There doesn't seem to be any people walking around with drinks at this point. But again, this place is currently still quite empty.
Yeah. So nothing complimentary floating around.
No, not at this point. There are a few drinks just left on tables, like half finished, like tumblers.
Minesweeper, let's go.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, these prices, bloody hell!
No, yeah.
Yeah,
$7.50 for a.
Leslie's going to suggest that we. I don't. Did anybody else want to hit the floor?
Do you want to gamble? I'll gamble if you want, but I mean, you can just go out shopping.
Emma wants to gamble. Leslie probably wants to gamble.
Other people might want to as well, and you can always come back when it's night time.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. I think
We
it's
might
quite
wanna
quiet
go
right
down.
now. Let's do what we can during the
Come
day.
back when it's booming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can.
What do you mean during the day? You mean during the night?
Yeah, that's what.
There was some nice shops outside. Maybe we could stand and look through the windows at the pretty scarves.
Leslie, you just got paid. You've got money. You can buy some things. You don't owe me anything anymore.
You have money,
Leslie's
time to
running
have
out.
debt.
Skipping out. Gonna skip out like hee hee hee, and run to the closest like scarf shop.
Scarf shop, sure. Inside this scarf shop is a tiefling.
We get our stuff back from locker number 4.
You successfully managed to re-equip yourselves perfectly fine. It's not an issue. Look, I never know what to do. That could have ended into some kind of chaotic heist.
We're walking around as heavily armed as possible. People are avoiding us. Arquen looks like he's off the war.
Careful, you'll get conscripted.
7 and covered in bronze.
Lesley, this scarf shop. You tell me, what is this scarf shop like?
Like,
Yeah.
mate, it's full of scarves.
Mate.
Full of them. It's got big
Mate.
ones, little ones. It's got handkerchiefs, and Leslie's like, those aren't scarves, but they're kind of like scarves for the nose. So if you think about it, yeah, anything's a
You think
scarf.
about it, it's quite a strange thing to have a place that only sells scarves.
Highly
What? It's weird that
specialized
there are more of these.
fashion shop here. Yes, it's run by a tiefling woman with kind of silver greyish skin, kind of that very pale grey. Very small horns, kind of the horns themselves actually like wrapped up in a headscarf, or adorned into it. It's like, hello, welcome to the shop. You look like a colourful man. Are we looking to pick something out for for an evening show tonight?
There are evening, guys. There are
Wasn't
evening
before, but he is.
You are new to town. Well, wonderful. I do love a newcomer. Let me tell you everything about the town, and we'll make sure you're perfectly outfitted for this evening's dues. She starts like wandering you through. You learn that yes, one of the big pastimes, especially in this area of the city, that a lot of the nobles like to do is shows. There are all manners of plays, of musicals, of bands essentially playing, orchestras, operas is the word I was looking for, that kind of stuff all the time. There is always like at least 3 shows a night in the Duskward of varying levels of like off Broadway, off Broadway, etc., etc., to keep people entertained. So which one are you going to see tonight?
The only the hippest. I don't know. We're new. This is our first time here.
Oh, well, in that
pamphlets?
case, I do believe tonight...
What are the recommendations?
Tonight, I do believe there's a video of the shrew on the water. It's a little bit of an odd taste, but I personally do quite recommend it. It's basically Are you from here? As in, where are you from? I should perhaps ask more politely.
Ooh. More polite. Sorry, Leslie's not got an accent today. I'm not from quite round here. We're
In that case, let me explain to you that she doesn't even let you finish. She just moves it. The Shrew on the Water is this interesting tale about a shrew attempting to cross the Tyson Sea to make it into the procession of the first emperor, and it's a wonderful tale that was being told many times. But this show in particular is said to be fantastic for its display of the waters during the entire ordeal across the sea. I've not seen it myself, but I've had many people coming in making sure they have the right levels of blues and greens for the show to take part in the experience, as it were.
quite one. That sounds excellent. I'll talk to my companions. Maybe they'd be interested in seeing it as well. Is this something you'd be interested in seeing at some point?
Me?
Perhaps.
I mean, I would love to see it, but I've not had chance yet.
Well, if we happen to be able to collect some tickets, maybe we could swing by, go see it together. Could be nice.
Certainly. I close up at Sunday.
Wonderful. It's a good time together. What are these scarves? These scarves.
You buy some scarves. They're not cheap. A scarf here costs $1, which is an entire 2 weeks of most people's savings.
Can I inquire if they've got sort of... I know this is a scarf shop, but I'm just inquiring if they've got any sort of nice bandanas, perchance.
Oh, certainly.
To go around my neck.
Yes. Come in. You've got all manners of patterns and different designs and colours. Some stitched, some just printed.
Scarfs and sundry is what you should be called.
Scarfs and sundry. Bandanas go for 5 silver pieces.
Lord.
I don't need a scarf while I'm at it.
What does your scarf look like?
And money.
What does your scarf look like, Arquen?
I would say his regular, which is currently wrapped around the brand on
Tauri.
Tauri's arm, is sort of a red material, just ripped off from something. So he'll probably get another red one, but this time sort of red, sort of maybe not silk, but something nice, like a nice little something for the evening. Oh fuck it, silk.
Splash out. Thick silver.
Lesley will.
To be fair, silk is, I wouldn't say common here, but the
Yeah,
silk
but
farms of the empires are relatively nearby to Andemon, so they do get a decent supply.
And it is, this is where you get it from.
Yes.
Cool. Also, while we've sort of been walking around, obviously, Arquen is currently like, have I fucking been here? Anything triggering a memory?
Give me an intelligence
I
saving
just
throw.
feel horribly... I don't think I've been anywhere this big before.
Give me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, 6. No, wait. +4, so 10.
10. You just about stave off having, one of those, you know those scenes in movies where just the camera is panning and spinning in a city? That kind of thing. You just about stave that off, but, it feels familiar. I don't think I've been here, but, being in a city, being in a heavy populated area, not your first time.
Okay. Hey guys, I figured something out. I've been in a city somewhere at some point.
You've been here before.
No, a city.
A city.
A city. Don't think it's this one. Actually, yeah, I've been in a city somewhere at some point that isn't this one. And that is more than I knew about myself before this point.
Hey, you know what, man? Well done. I think this calls for a celebratory drink.
I think so too.
Are you going to go and try and find yourself a tavern for your time in the in Andemon?
Let's flash.
Yeah, I think we can start wandering in the direction of the others.
Yeah.
Trying to find a place for us to like.
And we've got to
You
get past
were
the
given
theatre.
one suggested place
Yeah.
as the Dancing Rabbit.
I
which
sort
you
of
wouldn't-
grab a nearby
you wouldn't have had
passerby. It's like,
directions
excuse me.
by that dwarf, which is somewhere in the upper city.
All right, cool.
If you don't want to fork out for staying in the Duskward. But you kind of head back to you perhaps all agreed to meet back where you kind of split off from each other, let's say.
Yeah.
And you kind of head back in that direction with your newly laden scarfs and a plan to find somewhere to have some food, a drink, and hopefully a bed. And I think there's a good time to take a break. And we'll pick up at Reimagined College when we get back.
Oh.
And welcome back. So with the three of you traipsing back to the courtyard out in the front by the Atlas Gates, on the hunt of a place to stay for the evening, we will pan across the city, the many rooftops, all the way over to the district that Tauri would know quite well from her period in the city previously, known as Guildridge. Just west of the Heart Ward, the centre of the city where the Jade Basilica is, the Ji-Shen Palace, Grand Forum and all of these, lies the section of the city that is home to all of the infamous guilds of the city. Tauri, your experience here, you would know that this city runs on essentially labour unions that somewhat are backstabbing businesses, for lack of a better term. There is heavy competition between each of the guilds, even if all of them are distinct in what they do, like the Carter's Guild that you interacted with out there, and the Clockwork Guild that Togrim was part of previously. But they are all vying for significance and importance in the city. It is home to all of the guild offices, like the Jewel Masters and the Order of Woodcrafters as well. There are a few shops here that largely operate as fronts for the guilds, so it's where guild-created items can get sold from, etc. But the main reason you are here is Reimagined College, which backs onto the wall that separates Guildridge from the Heart Ward. It is the largest and first sanctioned college in the Empire, one of only 3 across its various cities. And it is one where you studied and got your writ for performance purposes, Tauri. As you are approaching, you can see that the grounds are behind an iron fence, gated off from the rest of the city. Regularly dotted around this fence are plaques with the symbol of Reimagined College, being that of a sphinx in a kind of almost like brushwork outline design. White ink on a blue background for anyone who wants to draw it. Yes, in here, all of the buildings, you feel somewhat not at home, Tauri, back in a familiar place for the first time in a while. You can see the kind of grey quartz buildings with their slanted roofs, interconnected by conical-topped towers that reach up towards the sky. But you note, not as high as the ever-watchful towers on the other side of the wall that you know to be the Halls of Inquisition, the home to the castigators within Andemon, and the second largest presence of castigators anywhere within the Empire. There are also dotted amongst the kind of grounds of the college a number of like green open spaces and walking pathways with low hedges where regularly people would wander around and discuss the merits of music or forms of the arcane specifically. But you wander up to the main gates, Tauri. They're not manned or anything like that. They are open currently to foot traffic, but you know that getting into any of the buildings would require a certain thing. But you can head over to like the main office hall as you wish, as you do see that it is noticeable that at this point I'm going to stop calling him a drake, a small dragon wanders onto the campus of one of the sanctioned colleges.
If I look around, has much changed? It's probably only been 6-12 months.
Not even that, I don't think. It's been probably about 3 months all told since you really left here. It has not changed much, no. Let's say you left kind of early summer, late spring, I guess. The leaves are kind of turning to autumn. But other than that, it is largely unchanged, the same as it has been for long before you got here and long after. Yeah, a few people wandering around.
Do I notice whether Tauri looks like she knows where she's going?
I mean, Tauri wouldn't have hidden it.
Aderyn's gonna like say, you've been here before, right?
Yes. This is where I was accredited.
So you spent quite a lot of time in this city then? Did you live here?
For some months, yeah.
Oh. Well, other people you know? Like friends? Did you have friends?
I definitely had acquaintances and people I spent time with here, but you come from all across the Empire for the accreditations, so most of them probably would have gone home. Those who are from the upper city probably will not be around here if they're accredited at all.
Did you always know you were going to get accredited? Like, is that what you wanted to do?
You have no choice in the matter. You're in the Empire with magic. It's accredited or...
How did you come to have magic?
How does anyone?
I walked into a forest.
Perhaps I did the same.
Do your parents have magic? You don't really talk about your past or your family or anything.
They keep something close to the chest. Although that does make Lesley look at it too much.
But were they your parents? Did they have any magic?
On my mother's side, we know some. She was the one who helped me start this handy little book of useful little rituals.
That makes sense. You are, compared to most people in the Empire so far, you've always seemed very open. You don't judge the magic.
I do judge in some instances. I'm not going to tar anyone who has magic as being evil and wishing to kill everyone. Having magic is a responsibility. With any such responsibility comes power, the need to make sure that you stick within your own morals or ethics.
Yeah, I think I'm
I
starting
judge
to.
people for that.
So, what did you want to do when you left here with your accreditation? Just travel the world playing music?
Honestly, no. The music is a side of just a side thing that came from the accreditation process. There were probably a couple of routes I could have gone down, but being forced to sit in a hall studying magic as part of the wizard route just made me want to bash my head in with a rusty plank.
So, definitely not a job in reading.
No. So, one of the things I've always remembered is how my parents are very different, and how a kind word and just knowing someone's name and their story allows them to know they feel seen and to do better than they would otherwise. Telling
sound
people
like-
stories helps with that and making sure that they know of other people's stories.
So, is that where your music comes in?
Very possibly. As I said, it was more of a thing that happened to go that studying route. Played as a child. It wasn't something I ever planned on going in as much as I ended up doing. But
Sound like important people. What do they do?
technically, I suppose you could call them merchants. My father's from the same lands as Aderyn, right?
I don't know your backstory. I believe your father
He's
was
from down south.
your father was originally from Koringrad. At least that's
Same country, not same city-state.
Correct.
My father's from down south. I don't necessarily think he's from the same area, but he's not of the Empire. Unfortunately, he has some rather antiquated, I don't necessarily, but views on who should be in charge, shall we say, between him and my mother. My mother's family has always been live Stoneshore, going all the way back generations before even the Empire came in. I think we still live in the same grounds that we've had for the last centuries.
Wow. That seems like a home that comes with a lot of pressure.
A little. I think if my father had his way, I would have the pressure of finding someone to marry, and he can jump off a boat, frankly.
I see.
I think part of what I'm doing here is to show him that he's a complete idiot and that I can do a better job than either of his sons.
You have brothers?
Half-brothers.
Well, it sounds to me, Tauri, like you should enjoy your single life and party just to spite him.
Apart from that, is all my brothers do.
But they're men, they get away with it. You know, it's not like that in the south. At least, not as much.
I wouldn't be able to say. I've never been.
You'll have to go. I mean, after all, you are half from there. You should get to know your people.
Well, I am my mother's daughter. I'm not his.
Oh, well, yeah, in your home. Maybe one day we could go visit her.
It's a little bit of a way out. Perhaps.
I mean, perhaps you have a big library in your home?
I definitely think there are some books.
It's a good excuse as any. Although, well, I'm quite eager to go back down to Dinlond. If you do decide to come with, then even though you are not your father's daughter, you can see that it is not completely bad to accept that side of yourself. He does not represent us.
There's only one way to find out.
Anyway, so this pass for this library, are there any prerequisites, or do they just hand it out? There's not an exam, right?
There's not an exam, but obviously I never had to pass. I was enrolled here. As far as I'm aware, at a bare minimum, you need an alumni or a student to give you the oversight, possibly.
So, essentially, you never did it, but you were explained it upon essentially graduating. That as a graduate, you have the ability to sign off on someone's use of the public library of Reimagined College, provided that you are with them at all times, and even then, the way the library works is it is very much like librarians will bring you books. There's very little that's just free perusing. But it's a fairly simple process. All you really need to do is head to the library, which is a fairly large building here, which Tauri, does have like a lot of the stacks are actually underground. So everything above ground is what is free to peruse, which is fairly light, like history books and the like. Nothing overly taxing, fairly mundane. But then all of the actual like research books are kept underground in storage, because Guildridge, once upon a time, was essentially just a sand dune along the shoreline next to the Heartward. And then the engineering guild went, we're going to turn it into something useful, and basically put a bunch of scaffolding in the sand dune to make it stable, but it means that they can actually dig down quite easily without it going underwater.
So what I'm hearing is underground library in a sand dune, straight out of The Last Airbender.
I can confidently say that's not where the idea came from, because I've never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. Despite Chris trying to make me learn it through osmosis when we lived together.
The thing is, I now own the TCRPGs, so...
One shot!
And we know that Chris will be getting into Magic the Gathering in September.
Oh, the Avatar sets are coming in September.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
you very swiftly move over to the library, where you can see behind the desk, talking to one of the other librarians, a male dwarf, probably in his early 300s, you estimate, so getting on a bit for a dwarf. Like the black beard definitely turning grey in places. The hair long since shaved off. In the very simple kind of midnight blue and white robes of Reimagined College. Just like talking to an official, and then sees you walk in, and then like shoos this individual off. Tara, you would know this to be Garrick High, who is the head librarian of the library, who apparently is on shift right now.
Good evening, Chief Librarian. I was hoping to peruse your books and also get a pass for my compatriot.
I'm assuming by your tone you used to study here.
That would be correct, sir.
Okay, show us your writ.
Cool. I pull out my writ from
Just takes a look at it.
inside pocket.
Yeah, okay. Hands you it back. If you could just have Is my eyesight going?
If you're talking about the miniature dragon behind me, no.
How did he fit in through the doors? He can't be staying in my library.
I didn't.
He's here to research.
I'm
Aderyn,
sorry?
you're not going to pull that one over on him.
I'm all for respecting dragons. I don't think they're going to read my books.
He's learning to read.
And I certainly don't particularly want him inside my library. He's the size of a horse.
Do you have any research rooms available?
Let's see. Are there any rooms available? Come back over, like, pop another, like, half-elf kind of pops her head around the door. It's like, yes, there's 2 current available reading rooms up on the first floor.
Would it be possible for us to just keep him in there so that he is contained but not left?
I don't mean this to
unsupervised?
sound insulting. Can he climb stairs?
Yes.
Roll me a
On the
persuasion
outside.
check.
I know he looks chubby, but he really is quite agile.
Persuasion. 15.
Can you not leave him outside?
Would you leave a sentient creature whose mind is about as well developed as a toddler outside by themselves?
I mean, I've met some pretty smart horses in my day. And I've left them outside.
Place that reveres dragons.
Oh, I revere them all right. I just don't particularly want them in my library. They're quite big, and it's designed for more conventionally sized people.
That's understandable. Perhaps we can...
Where'd that dog get in here?
Perhaps...
Get it out!
Perhaps we can sort out the pass for my compatriots, and with it getting on quite late, we still need to arrange our accommodations within the city. We will come back tomorrow to start actually researching.
I mean, at that point,
And that
just come
way-
and sign them in tomorrow. It's not going to be hard for them to be here if you're signing them in.
This is the first time I've done it. I was making sure, that was all.
It can stay down here.
Thank you.
Do you need my name for the pass? Or
Yeah, yes. Sign in here, and he just pulls up a large book and just like starts sort of flicking it over to the latest entry page. It's basically just name, not address, but at least place of origin. And then there's a place for your signature and Tauri's signature. To essentially say that if you do anything of wrongdoing, Tauri may lose her writ and be essentially kicked out of being a student here, former student. But you sign them. Derek kind of just like curls up on one side. It's like marble flooring in here. So Derek just goes and finds a corner, and then just like pointedly is like the opposite side of the room from the desk where this dwarf is, and it's just there, and it's just their head is on the lap, staring at him the entire time. But yes, this is also quite a busy library. News will spread that the library now has a dragon.
Hey, Gethin, you finally got a dragon's.
Hey!
You're welcome.
Classic.
You head into the library. What are people looking for? What are they trying to research? What are you doing, lasses?
Dragons.
I don't think
Be
they got
specific.
Any record of known like sightings of purple dragons and any like record of interactions from humans with purple dragons, like first-hand accounts, I suppose.
Tauri, I'll come back to you. Aderyn, I would like you. Go on.
I was going to initially, because obviously I have a better idea of the decimal system, whatever one we're calling it here, was going to help Aderyn to start off with.
Okay. So Aderyn, you have advantage. I do need you to make an investigation check. Tauri, did you want to do anything else?
Once I've got Aderyn settled, I am going to see and have a look and see if they've got any.
I was mainly asking whether you wanted to use Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give everything needed.
Wondered whether you wanted to stack the deck.
Yeah, well.
Your help action is like being very clear with like what like themes and genres of the stacks, and then your Bardic Inspiration is showing Aderyn how to actually like research.
Yeah.
How much was the Bardic Inspiration?
It's a D8.
It is a D8 now.
It's a D8 now. Okay. 16 in that case.
16. It's a slow process for you. There is a lot of dragon information here that you somewhat already know from having researched elsewhere upon like the nature of these dragons and everything like that. You learn the fact that I explained earlier in this session that generally, so purple dragons, as you've been referring to them, are almost exclusively known within academic circles and religious circles as amethyst dragons. They are part of the subcategory of crystal dragon, separate from the metallics and the chromatics, and therefore are viewed, at least in religious circles, underneath the purview of Kelarashi and as their origin, essentially. And you learn, among other things, that wings are a rarity. Deck is an oddity, falling under that category. Conventionally, yes, you have seen one in your visions with wings. Wings are a decoration for these dragons more than anything. In terms of specifics on amethyst dragons, the couple of things you do learn with that role, their lairs, and therefore kind of where you're likely to find them. Almost always, amethyst dragons are known to have lairs with lakes or ponds, or at least near inland bodies of water, specifically fresh water. And often within that, near or in mountains. So often mountain lakes, or at least lakes at the bottom of mountains where runoff has filled them. They do tend to prefer solitude and therefore kept distance from other societies where other dragons might try to integrate a little bit more. And generally the biggest problem is, while this is a known feature to these lairs, knowledge of where these lairs exist is a rarity, in that amethyst dragons tend to not like people knowing where their lairs are. So even if they talk to them, people don't have memory of how to get there upon leaving, which you do kind of piece back a little bit to your experience of like, you don't remember where you ended up or how to get back there, you just remember walking back out of the forest.
Yeah.
Other elements...
But there are accounts that people haven't interacted.
Yes, these are like at best first-hand accounts or second-hand accounts. of people who have interacted with them and passed on information. It doesn't look like anything that you've read so far has been the direct word of the dragon. It seems to be like someone who met the dragon was then interviewed and that was then written down, is kind of what you're getting from this. They're hordes, and therefore by what they're particularly interested in, as all dragons like to collect certain things, and that is their interest, tend to include esoteric arcana, especially pertaining to the multiverse, other planes, and long-distance travel, like teleportation. Tends to be what they are interested in. It seems that they show an intense interest in the planes and the structure of the multiverse as a whole. And that is what you get on this level of research. Tauri, while helping, you do get the feeling that there's more information, but you kind of want to get on a little bit with your own research, and we're trying to.
This is giving us the base idea of where to go from here for deeper research.
There's definitely this library is definitely going to have more, but that's just what was pulled for you so far.
Tauri, how much have I told you about the dragon that I see?
That it's an amethyst dragon based off our conversation in the Dothras.
I think that when I was a child and I entered that forest, I think I may have found an amethyst dragon's lair. And perhaps that is why I do not remember. And perhaps these other things, these other eyes, they are from a different plane.
Well, that's not creepy at all. Well, that could open a can of worms. I assume this would have been back down south.
Yes, in Riverhold, it's not too big a place. But perhaps, I mean, I don't remember seeing any maps of the forest itself. We were always told to stay out of it, but if we could find some sort of map that shows the forest in more depth, perhaps if we found a lake or something, then we could find the lair again.
Possibly. I'm assuming this was a decade ago plus, so while dragons aren't known to move regularly or at all once they've made a lair, you have to assume that there is a tiny possibility that they have left. But it's a place to start looking.
Yes. I'll need to research about this as well, and she pulls out the rock. Maybe
You can
it's
start doing
connected.
that. I mean, if what the savages were doing is something related to the dragons, then it's going to be an ugly truth to come out.
Wow.
Do you just
It's-
take out the chunk of weird stone in the middle of the
Yeah.
story? Okay.
Yeah. There's just something about it, you know? Like
I'm going to
it's-
flick her on the nose.
What is
Don't
that for?
keep staring into strange rocks we know nothing about. Put it away.
Fine. I just think maybe if I tried putting some more magic in it, like we could test.
Or we can come back tomorrow and see what knowledge the library has on it before we start doing experiments.
Okay.
Both of you roll me perception checks.
I get arrested. Oh no. La policía.
16.
11.
Tauri, you definitely see someone in not librarian robes of the college, but professor robes, who was studying in here of their own accord anyway. Kind of glance at that thing, like glance at you in that moment, and as best they can to like not draw attention, but it is not the most subtle thing in the world, they very quickly like pack up their book and parchment that they were taking notes in, and begin to head out of the library.
I will, for the moment, because I wouldn't have known for certain, I will just assume it's a weird coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe keep a note of what they look like a little bit.
Sure.
But that's all.
Mm-hmm.
How long will that have taken us?
I mean, there's a number of you could have been doing your research in parallel and just providing a little bit of guidance with that. So you can still achieve your research and still meet. Let's say you all decided to meet up at dusk. The other three of them are perusing food and eating stuff. So you still have a bit of time if you want to research anything.
Yeah, I will have a look and see knowledge we've got in the library to do with runic crafting, both of the Empire and from outside it, as well as seeing if there's anything on... Logically, there might be something to do with that lamp, possibly as well. Not necessarily with the rune of, not necessarily to do with the glyph that I'm doing, but obviously the lamp may well be of the Empire. I understood, so it might be easier to make sure linked with that.
Okay, I would like an investigation check and an Arcana check from you. 2 separate rolls.
Cool. Annoyingly, I can't bardic inspiration myself.
No.
I don't give a shit. Which one is which?
Investigation.
Which one do you want to do first?
Investigation is what I asked for first, because it's the one attached
Cool.
to the Woodcraft.
So that one, I'm so glad you said it that way, is a natural 20 for 25.
25.
The next one is 13.
13. Okay, we'll start with the Arcana, just because it's the lower roll, to get it out of the way.
Oh, yeah, 13.
Yeah, there's a little bit, it's not even little, it's a fairly, underneath like common enchantment book, essentially, of the Everbright Lantern. As I say, you kind of cross-reference what you managed to do, and you're like, I actually managed to recreate it pretty well and patch it up. It just needs that spell infused into it. That research that you look at, it is not runecraft by any means. It is traditional magical enchantmentry, the version that you have that uses Draconic script to do it, which is the most commonly taught method of enchanting within the Empire for obvious reasons. So you don't necessarily learn anything there, you just need to find someone who can cast Continual Flame into it for you, and then it will function as an Everbright Lantern. Services you would know could be done here, but are more commonly requested through the Crystal Lantern, the sanctioned magic shop within Andemon, which you know exactly where it is, and it is affiliated with Louisiana College.
Would I know whether getting that put into the lantern, the Continual Flame spell, would also need Electrum, or because it's kind of
it would still require an Electrum payment, but because
be easier to get,
it would be very easy to obtain. Yes.
Cool.
For the sake of it, we're going to very much kind of... You're in Louisiana College, you have a writ at this point, you can get very mundane stuff sorted out for that.
That would be a mundane thing.
Yeah, it's more high-level stuff you do. In terms of your runecraft role, the first thing you do deal with is the fact that the specific thing you're asking for is held in a restricted section for active students and professors, which does give you a little bit of a wrangling to get in there, but you do kind of work around it and manage to get the information that you're...
Can I offer to allow them to have a copy of the runecrafting book that I've got?
That gets you past the blockade, yeah. they're like, that can be added to the repository, and so for today only, you have access to these books. But
Cool.
you are efficient. You can copy stuff. You're not worried about only having a day.
And to be honest, what I may well end up doing is we can say I start reading over it in the evening and merge it.
Yeah.
But if I know that I've only got today, I'm literally not going to try and comprehend. I'm literally just copying everything I find.
So runecraft has been a fascination of the Officio Arcanum and the Sanctioned Colleges by extension, dating back centuries at this point. And records, as they're written, show it as a lost piece of culture that was shared with the Empire. Unfortunately, we co-opted this wonderful culture. They brought to us their last pieces of this wonderful concept, and now we look to pull it back together to reclaim their lost culture. You know that to be bullshit, based on what your mother has told you. But that is how the Empire has framed it. Research has continued, especially here, to try and piece together the fragments of runecraft that they have collected from Elgendir, as you know it as Elgendir, Jesus Christ, Stoneshore, and other places that they have found it, in ruins and fallen towers and that kind of thing. But essentially what they're looking for is a Rosetta Stone. That's what they don't have. They have fragments of this, they're trying to piece it together, and they don't have that one thing that will bring it all together.
Yeah.
But there is an individual known as Nicholaston Slurmon who... Roll me a history check. 19. You know them to be head of cultural history within the Officio Arcanum. They are the leader of one of the communities, as they're called, within the Officio Arcanum.
Of what, sorry?
Communities. He's the head of cultural studies.
Yeah, I heard that bit. Then you cut out.
So what bit do you need?
You literally said he's the head of cultural studies, and then...
The cultural studies is one of the communities of the Officio Arcanum. The Officio Arcanum is split up into subgroups of cultural history is one of them. He is leading a number of research teams who are slowly making progress. You're essentially found records of what they're kind of working to do. And it is because there is a deep interest in them being able to tap into the benefits of magic without there being a human involved. Right? Because that's the number one fear, is that magic running through people is then dangerous. And if they can just imbue it in an inanimate object, they have full control over it. Some religious people might disagree with that, but that's the view of the some people within the Arcanum anyway. What has been pieced together so far provides you some knowledge to help you advance your own studies, and should you wish to, while some downtime here in the city, you can possibly make some progress on your kind of glyph of warding stuff. I'll let you determine what that looks like on your own terms, essentially. But that's just kind of what the Empire, the Officio, has figured out. What you start putting together is that the runecraft that you know of and that has been collected from Stoneshore is largely dwarvish in nature. It makes use of dwarvish script and dwarvish inscription stylings. It has mutated somewhat by time and use, co-opting a little bit more common methodology and other elvish and draconic nature that was around it, but it is largely based in dwarvish. Of which you kind of just dig into that a little bit to get a bit more clarity. There are essentially two main dwarvish societies on the continent of Kaldruin that could have passed it to the people of Stoneshore. One is where your father is from. Oh, your stepfather, I should say. Which is Corin, or specifically the city of Coringrad in Loringa, which is these days is more well known for their elemental infused metals. It's possible that some elements of runecraft might have allowed them to achieve that, but that is undetermined. You would have to head there and investigate. Then there is the Dulgadim Kaldun, which you have read about in your previously, discovered a book of the Ridgrad Mountains to the north. A society that sadly, by all accounts, did not survive the awakening. They have not been heard of since that cataclysmic event, but it is spoken of in historic texts. They were an incredibly powerful kingdom, famed for their incredible stone and metallic crafts. Still going, you rolled a 25.
Yep. I literally couldn't roll higher.
They were very stubborn in closely guarding the secrets to their works, which in some elements included constructs. What they were capable of was beyond what anyone else on the continent was capable of, including the former kingdoms of high sorcery that were Factorline, where magic was proclivative and heavily used. The way that they used runecraft was different. But it is believed by your logic that that is essentially runecraft was how they did it, and that's why no one else could replicate what they were capable of in these incredibly stable constructs.
Yeah.
And so maybe you believe that maybe some of it was stolen or sold on the black market, for lack of a better term, to the people of Ilgendir, who then managed to reverse engineer it and potentially adopt it in their own ways, which is why maybe it's different in Ilgendir rather than pure Dwarven, because they essentially had to work it in their own way and invent pieces as they went. The last kind of heavy level of information that you do get is a bit more on the... You're piecing together like historic accounts of what was capable. Runecraft is fundamentally different from traditional magic as you use it, as it affects Aderyn and everyone else. Roll me an Arcana check to see how well you studied in your Wizard 101 before giving up on it.
25.
Jesus Christ. Magic...
Tauri was a student, apparently.
Magic as it's understood in every method is related to a soul. That is what souls are for. In academic, arcane purposes. It is through which the weave is able to take shape on the world, how an individual is able to access whatever power the weave is. The weave is not well understood, just its effects.
It is there, it does. It's like the wind. It's there, it blows.
And so divine magic is almost a strong, a godlike presence pushing power through someone. While arcane magic is more like someone using their own connection and pulling through it, is the best way to describe the kind of difference between divine and arcane. Nature is a little bit different. It's a little bit more about touching the world around you rather than direct to source. You're kind of channeling everything else through you. Runecraft doesn't do that. Runecraft, by what you figure out here, and you're fairly confident you are piecing together multiple different texts, and there is no record in the official Arcanum's ledgers on this, in terms of why it works rather than making it work. It instead works by giving a material a channel to the weave. Right? It opens up this material to essentially touch the weave and have the weave permeate it. So it's not necessarily possible for the weave to then escape the material, but it enters in and you're able to shape how it behaves within that material. Which is why it has to be applied to resistant and very hardy materials, because otherwise it will just shatter and break, which is why metals and stone tend to be the common things. But even the strongest metals can't hold that much. Like there are records of adamantine golems being extremely rare. I'll give you it on a meta level. Essentially, runecraft, as far as your recordings can show, isn't really possible of anything beyond a 5th level spell. Directly. But you can combine multiple of these in a single construct, and suddenly it can do quite a lot.
Cool, I've got an idea then, stealing from the books I've been reading recently about how that can work.
In general, runecraft is very subtle. You have to have almost an engineering level thought process of like, I can put 6 things together here to make a circuit that does a bigger thing.
Magical circuits
is kind of what you're touching on. You have made a lot of progress. There might be more information that you could piece together, but you feel like you're kind of at your limit here and you're going to need something else to help you through. And the day is wearing on, and you're feeling a little tired.
Sure.
Got a whole week here.
Cool. I suggest to Aderyn, we probably should find somewhere to crash for the night. They'll be wondering where Dirk is otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you know of somewhere decent enough.
Possibly, but the customs dwarf did suggest somewhere, so perhaps look there first. They probably wouldn't suggest it if it was too expensive.
Hey, what, Tauri?
Somewhere.
What, Bryn? What? Hugh?
We're meeting up somewhere we've already agreed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Tauri, you know of two places that would be near where you're going to meet everyone else that would at least probably cater to most people's tastes here. You know, like Lesley's fancy, but also Balrick's at least relatively affordable. You have the Dancing Rabbit that was mentioned to you that you have been to in the past. It's more of a classic wine bar, but being in the upper city, it still has places to kind of sleep. So it's a little bit more upmarket. And then there is the Golden Moon, which is probably the most popular place in the upper city, in that it has pretty prime real estate, being fairly close to the entrance point. It is a multi-story kind of, almost looks like a conifer tree, in like design tavern, with loads of rooms, and each floor has like a large communal space in the center with its own like bar and not quite theme, but will have a different kind of music or event going on different floors, and then the rooms are like in the eaves essentially around each floor.
Big spoons, yeah.
Big spoons.
No, what was the... would you have been here before it shut down? Up the road from the...
Are you thinking of Oceana?
Yes. It's like that, where each floor's a different vibe.
Yeah, kind of. It's not quite as it's not nightclubby, but it is like...
No, but that's what I was more meaning.
It gives like, you've got like the rowdy floor, you've got the quiet floor, you've got...
Yeah.
Anyway,
eventually you all meet back up in this courtyard, but the three of you would have got there first. What have you been doing in the meantime while you wait for the two studious ones?
So anyway, I says to Mabel,
Oh, by the way, I will say there are a number of people sketching Derek when you leave.
Okay, can I just assume that Dirk has actually got into a position to allow them to sketch better?
Derek, I don't know, Chris, Derek is your dragon. How would he react to like half a dozen people sketching him, taking notes, not approaching him directly by any means?
I don't think they'd really notice it was going on. You know, if people started fussing, he might get a little bit antsy. But
I think it happens occasionally. A couple of people get too close, and he's just like,
yeah, I think he's used to people looking at him. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you see Derek kind of chilling. But it's very clear that we have any hope of being subtle with Derek is out the window. Yeah. Sorry, the three of you meet back up in the courtyard in the upper city.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like we've been getting oysters and wine. And,
I will tell you what, because you were perusing around, you would have probably on your route back explored the city a little bit. You had time. You would have maybe gone through what is known as the lower city, the other part of Greater Andemon, which is a largely residential area. A lot of kind of terracotta roofed buildings that are fairly similar in design, that are kind of different layer of architecture from other sections of the city. But the main thing you notice when walking through here is a fairly large octagonal building. That again, it's about 3 stories high. The first one is not octagonal, it's much more like a classic square to fit into the space with an awning out front. The second story is this octagonal shape with like large vaunted, Jesus Christ, but large like church-like windows of like faceted glass, like a crystal sort of thing, and then on top is like another smaller shaped room that you can kind of see has essentially almost like an observatory style thing up the top of it. This place is signposted quite clearly out front on a kind of sky blue sign written in calligraph font, the Crystal Lantern. Which none of you know what the Crystal Lantern is, but it is. That building looks significant.
I know what it is.
You do.
Oh, sorry, I'm not. Sorry.
You can see on that sign it does bear the symbol of a ink brushed sphinx in white ink. But again, you don't really know what it means. It's a point of interest.
The crystal what, sorry?
Crystal Lantern.
Crystal Lantern. What do we think, Lesley? Do we think it's another bar?
I think it would be foolish not to have a look in there at some point, have a little gander. But I feel like with a name, the crystal something, this is something that Aderyn might be quite interested in.
That's true. That's true. That's very true, actually. All right. Well, let's pick up the theatre tickets. Sorry.
It looks like it might be quite delicate inside, and because of that, I quite like to go in with Ximori.
Yeah.
Do you have the saying "bull in a china shop"? Is that something you?
Ours is I don't know, stampeding stallion in a. I don't know where I'm from. Like.
I want you to make up this saying now, and I will co-opt it for the Empire, or at least your area. Stallion in a pottery shop?
Yeah. Fire elemental in a library.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Anyway, let's go pick up the theatre tickets for your date, and then let's
Do you think
get on to another bar.
I mean, I'll get us. Do you think? Are you guys interested as well? I'll get us.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
What you were doing like a date night thing.
We don't want to see what you're up to.
No, you don't. But it'll be my treat. I think it could be fun. We could get some culture. Maybe you guys can also find some dates. Yeah, can Lesley go via the ticket? I don't know why I was actually checking my own phone to see what time it was. You like to get the tickets?
Yes. Lesley, you do swing by. And I tell you what, Lesley, roll me a D6 plus 2.
D6 plus 2. Lord. Oh, this would help if I had any dice with me on this exact moment.
Roll for section you'll be in.
No, this is how many tickets you're able to get, because it is the last night before a pretty big festival. A lot of people want to get in a show before tomorrow.
That is that's a 5-7.
7. You managed to get the last 7 tickets to this show. Each one costs 2 gold.
So that's all. That's everyone, not including Deck. Deck's a seeing eye dog for this purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
He is the size of
Eye.
a horse.
A horse.
Ben, come on.
Cool. I'll need a costume. because I own what you see me wearing right now.
Clank, clank, bitches.
The rest of us all have nice clothes, to be fair.
All of you do except Arquen.
Yep.
Yeah. Never got any.
Lesley could
Lesley, I'll
do
find some
stuff.
Walked out of the fucking forest, you know.
Do you take Arquen shopping, Lesley?
Oh, go on then. Go on then. Lesley did get everybody like
talking-
fancy waistcoats.
We're
Does
talking Fae. We're talking Summer Court. We're talking
You tell me. It does cost 15 gold.
Oh, okay.
Get a
Let
set
me get
of
rid of. Let me get rid of.
What am I going to spend it on?
Edit.
But yeah, you tell me, Arquen, what does your fancy outfit entail?
Oh, I think I might have to. Well, yeah, I need to be able to get it sorted for tomorrow night, obviously. So I think that we'd be talking some kind of sort of elvish style sort of robe. Basically, yeah, I'm going Sylvan as the general theme, with hints of draconic, like sort of high riding boots as well, that sort of style. Yeah, maybe sort of like a shoulder that's sort of like a, if it's available, if they've got some kind of like draconic scaled sort of like almost like pauldron to go over one shoulder, and yeah, obviously like probably on the outside we're talking sort of like emerald green and everything, and then sort of because we're getting into autumn, I'll stick with the season, sort of autumnal sort of like. Sorry?
You're deep into autumn at this point. The autumnal equinox was when you lot died.
Okay. That's how I mark every event in my life. Okay, in which case we'll go sort of copper-coloured coat. Red coloured coat with sort of copper lining and sort of a burnished bronze, like leafy style waistcoaty sort of inner bit with the boots. Yeah,
Love it.
and then a circlet, of course.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, with the
Sweet.
clothes in hand and tickets for tomorrow night's show that, based on the gossips and rumours that you heard, would be attended by Taizi Teotzidan, the ruler of the Taisin Basin province and heir to the Emperor. You are lucky to get pretty rubbish seats. But they were the last seats available. You are up in the gods, right at the back.
What, you mean those 7 seats were all together? That's freaking amazing.
Oh no, I just meant like at the back, scattered in that. Half of them are listed as obstructed view, didn't change the price.
Yeah. There's only 2 of them which are together. We're like, fine, Lesley.
But
We can arrange a little accident in the carts outside. It's like, oh, the box seats are unfilled at the moment. Well,
are you proposing killing the heir to the Empire?
no, just like causing someone's like carriage on the way.
We
here
can. We can go full insurrection if you want. I don't think you make it out of the city alive, but you know what?
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
No, I'm just talking about someone's carriage throwing a wheel or something like that. They get bogged down in traffic, and just box seats, just going free.
Eventually, you all meet back up at the, let's call it the gates between the lower and upper city, a clear marker that you can all meet up at. And eventually, you see the 2 traipsing up, a bow wave being created for them by Derek through the crowds as they head up. The 3 of you, the 2 of you notice Arquen with a lovely package under his arm. 2 of them, Arquen and Lesley, draped in scarves, and Balrick, I imagine, kind of done. Derek at that point just breaks out into essentially like a full trot to like break up to you, Balrick. and just like curls around you slightly. It was boring.
All right.
Pat him on the head and just like, yeah, I know. Not my cup of tea either.
I'll say in Draconic to Deck, like, Deck, what's your favourite food? What's your favourite animal to eat?
Badger.
Get this man a badger. Or closest available derivative.
Eat a badger.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've never hunted a badger for him. Badgers aren't native to the Frostfjords. He has clearly at some point gone hunting and scavenged up a badger.
Oh.
Alright, fair enough. To each their own.
No,
Alright.
that's it.
What do you guys want to do now? Let's go. You want to go to this golden moon that Tauri told us about?
You can have a
Wine bar
look.
called Gethin.
The wine
That was the
bar
rabbit.
is the dancing rabbit.
Ah, cool.
Dancing.
The dancing rabbit.
That's the wine bar.
Bunny rabbit.
Yeah. The dancing wabbit.
Dancing rabbit.
Which one's
do some
closer?
horse trading?
To where you are.
And which one do I think will be less expensive?
Oh, less expensive will be Golden Moon.
Cool, we're going to the Golden Moon.
I mean, we are rich.
We are rich.
You stay rich by not spending when you don't have to.
Bracing. I've been remembered something about themselves.
I did.
Kind of.
I get this.
No, let's fine and discuss it.
Right, cool. I'm getting a sense that we're all a bit at a loss as to what to do now, to be honest. So let's go get fucking drunk.
I mean, I won't be, but alright, we can go.
Of course.
Ximori also at this point does join. No, actually, I'm going to say Ximori probably doesn't. I think I'll discuss with Andrew what Ximori does, and maybe he'll rejoin you at a later point. Distinctly no Ximori yet, but you know he is the most religious of all of you. Chance to see the Jade Basilica. Gonna take that chance. So you will head to the Golden Moon. At this point, with it being dusk, workday has ended. People are trading in. The last kind of few wagons are wailing up. It's getting quite busy here. You enter in on the ground floor, which is the widest space of the lot. Essentially the communal tavern. There are no rooms on this floor. It is just purely large open bar. Open space. A couple of like open pit fires around here, with like chimney stacks out onto the slanted roofs. A number of benches, very communal, not very like able to separate yourselves. You would be sitting with other people in this space. But the bar in the center of the room, where there's like a large pillar that seems to go up through the floors, and it is fairly lively in here. You can see at the bar a gnome woman who's clearly like directing things and making sure everything is running. Two buns like on the back side of the head of like coiled up brown hair, wearing kind of a brown cloth kind of overalls, but underneath pale yellow like shirt. She's just like directing things. She's serving up some drinks, but you can see she's also got like a ledger in front of her. She's clearly like managing the things and like directing bartenders behind her and everything like that, and just kind of shouting over the din.
Go. Walk up, helmet off, down on the desk. What ho, barkeep?
Alright! What can we do for you, tall lad?
I'll have, if you don't mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 wines and an apple juice.
4 wines and an
Whatever
apple juice,
he's drinking,
certainly. Come on, right.
Balrick.
Hey! 4 wine. What was that? 4 wines and an apple juice?
Yes, and whatever this grumpy prick's drinking. What are you drinking, Balrick?
I'm happy with water.
Underwater.
Okay, boring folk, but whatever. You take what you can drink. Right, you're not. Come on, give me the drinks. Right, is there anything else you want for you? Or are you just gonna find yourself a table?
Do you serve badger?
No. We've got a
Worth
few portions from the hogs left over for the evening, or there's just the ongoing potato stew.
The eternal potato stew.
It's been working this tavern for many years, and no one's ever complained about it yet.
You know what happens if you complain about stew?
You don't come back.
Well,
Oh, it's turned into a pork and potato stew tonight.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
I guess we'll just have some bit of everything. You know what? Just fill up the table. I'm buying. Let's.
I mean, sure.
You also have 3 rooms available for afterwards.
Right. Now we get to the point of the contention. Let me just take note. What floor are you looking for?
The best.
The best. Oof.
The wooden one.
You're a funny lad. You're a funny lad. Well, you're in luck. The current penthouse is currently free, but there'll only sleep 2 of you, and that's if you're feeling comfortable.
only just
Penthouse and whatever the rest rooms.
I mean, I'm
they
sure
need.
you could try and squeeze in if you wanted. I don't know how comfy you are with your seat. I'm not judging questions, but if you do want a piece of pineapple, I can probably sort it out for you.
Why would I need the pineapple?
Oh, lassie.
Never
mind.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Have a chat with Balrick later.
Yes, Balrick can
That's my
explain
favourite moment of Paul's campaign.
I know I'm acting like a father figure here, but I am not anyone like a actual father here. There are no conversations like that going on.
By the way, Tauri does actually say that. Speak to Balrick, he'll tell you all about it.
Is it like an empire custom?
No, it ranges far further than that.
I'm
not sure how There's no real telling how it first came about or in which part of the world it first originated, but it's
Up north, they don't have. Up north, they don't have pineapples. They have to use pine cones instead.
An upside down pine cone on the door. You know what's going on in there.
Lesley will ask for pineapple for tomorrow.
Oh no, I don't need a pineapple.
Right, well, we have the penthouse and whatever else is available for the rest of us.
Okay, well, as I say, I don't know how many of you want to sleep, but the penthouse, that's gonna...
Me.
Okay, then.
It's just the one.
Well, the penthouse will cost you 5 silver for the night. The rest of the rooms, you're looking at 3 silver per room. Each room, you can do doubles.
Put it all on the tab under the name Arquen. I'll put down, I don't know, like 100 gold bar as a deposit.
Oh yeah,
that's what we end up using.
Not gonna ask questions. No, better than that. But if you need anything, you can find me on the tavern. The name is Shenmir. I own the Golden Moon. I am yours for the night. And not in that way. Not in that way now.
I did forget that Arquen is paying in not in coins, in solid gold mini bar.
She says not in that way, and then she does kind of look around the party and go, talk to me after a few drinks. Oi, Ral, make sure, clear one of these tables for these lot. They're drinking well tonight. And make sure they get some of the finest stew. Throw a bit of pork in there for them. And like a table is like cleared for you, and a bunch of patrons are like, "What the fuck?" Like being moved off this table. As I said, it's purely communal down here. It is people sit down wherever there's space on a bench, and you've just had a table cleared for you. Where's Deg?
I was about to ask.
Balrick goes, I'm going to go outside and get Derkin as well. He's staying in my room. And I'll go out and bring
Deg went into the stable briefly, kind of thing.
I think Deg went into the stable, had a look around and went, this isn't for me. Deg's too highbrow. Deg's too animals.
So, it is a question of, just for the sake of this, who is sharing rooms, who is having their own rooms, who's in the penthouse? Just so we know long term.
I guess since Aderyn called dibs, Aderyn at least is going in there, and I guess Tauri if she's wanted to share.
I'm not sharing a bed with her.
No,
Tauri will be getting her own room if that. I'm not sharing a double bed.
There are twin rooms, so you can have two people sharing a room.
Yeah. Alright, I guess.
Other days of sharing.
I'm sharing the penthouse with the priest.
The priest is in the church.
The priest is not here yet. He may turn up with Ximori later. Aderyn, I want to fuck a priest.
We'll go for the penthouse and two other rooms that are doubles or whatever.
Penthouse and two rooms.
Well, we'll need the penthouse and 3 rooms just in case Ximori comes back.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 4. Again, Balrick sharing with Deg. So that's the entire room taken up, really.
We're going to say you've got the penthouse and 3 rooms. You can figure out sleeping arrangements after you're drunk.
Just me, my party leader, and his 6 foot tall dragon.
Is that a euphemism?
I'm 7.5 foot tall myself, so.
But you eventually you have a table cleared for you. You don't have privacy though. Like the next table is a foot to your left, kind of thing. But there's enough noise in here that you can kind of keep some conversation to yourselves at least. What would you like to do?
Yeah. And we're telepathic.
Oh, that's a good point.
But we've got plans.
So, would it be possible to subtly pass without trace, so we can mute the noise from us?
Or does it then end up to be basically a very quiet area that's very noticeable?
Quite a large radius, actually. No, never mind. It's like a 20-foot radius. 10, 20-foot radius, so no. We'll disregard that.
Quietly.
Yeah, it has all 3 components. I don't think you're getting away with it.
At some point, Arquen will go like. So, Balrick, I know we just had a week on the road, but I forgot to ask anyone questions except for Aderyn. Where are you from?
Right?
Where are you from?
Alright. Are you going to go around everyone on the table and just go, to be fair?
ASL.
Feels like a job interview now. I'm from north. From up north. Frostfjords. Hey.
I would never have guessed.
Never, no, I know it's whistle. Yeah, you can still sort of. I know I've been down here a while, but you can still slightly hear the accent.
It's just a twinge of it.
Yeah, hey.
It comes and goes, you know. It comes and goes.
Yeah. It comes and goes. What made you take up the adventuring life? Of course, I know you have a companion here who's on his way upstairs, presumably.
Like signing to like Arquen, like, no, do not ask these questions.
There's lots of reasons one might leave their home, you know. Might not be much there anymore to go back to. he's very quiet on the subject, and you'll notice his hand go to his neck where there's a wedding band around his neck.
Aderyn's gonna say telepathically to Arquen, "Family's dead."
Family's dead. What? No. Yeah. Arquen would probably. Yes. Let's say no more on the matter. But I understand better than most, I think.
Thank you.
And he'll sort of, a hand sort of goes to the pocket where the music box is that he still fiddles about with every now and then. Or at least I think I do. I don't know. There's definitely something there about that, but I'm buggered if I can tell you what it is.
Fair enough.
Can I ask anyone who is keeping an eye on things at least, to roll a perception check?
In what
People who are enjoying their time, maybe not.
My many eyes see nothing. That's the 2 on the dice. So I'm not even gonna
25.
bother.
This is really good aptitude,
23.
Scanlan.
In the uncomfortable silence that follows, it's just like, oh.
Balrick, Tauri?
25.
23.
Cool. I know what you rolled, Arquen, and for a reason I'm ignoring it. I respect you. Fine. The two of you, like Balrick, you're like nervously looking away from this conversation kind of thing. And Tauri just doing what you do best in trying to learn like what's going on in like keeping a bridge of the information. You can spot it's very subtle, but you swear there is a guy kind of talking to a bunch of other people at a table short way across the room who just every so often is like glancing at your table, and with those rolls glancing at Arquen. This figure is like a fairly like muscle bound, like workman muscle bound, maybe a person who worked heavily on a ship, moving cargo, blacksmith, that kind of occupation. Brass dragonborn, kind of with like the large frilled like ridges out the back with that kind of descendancy of that ancestry. Just every so often, just kind of like a slightly quizzical look on their face before like re-engaging with the conversation with the other people around their table.
Do I notice if they look similar? If there's anything that kind of looks similar to Arquen in it?
Roll me insight, I guess. Let's go with insight.
Insight?
Yeah.
Thank you. 22.
22. No. Beyond that, they're a dragonborn. They don't appear to be of similar scale, like, or
colour
style to Arquen. Arquen, I think you're green, black. I can't quite remember.
Bronze.
Bronze. Sorry. So yeah, there's in the bronze and brass are somewhat similar, but you know that there's distinction between those two people in terms of how like the bone and ridge crests kind of come out.
Yeah.
So they're not. You wouldn't call them familial, essentially. But that's it. That just carries on. Lesley, what are you up to?
Drinking.
Arquen was going to like turn his stool to Lesley next. So Lesley, where are you from?
Can we just before that, what happened at the end of Lesley's day?
It's tomorrow.
Oh no, was that not the theatre that we just went? Oh, we've got the tickets.
We went and got the tickets for tomorrow.
Got tickets for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think I might have said originally that it was tonight, but then someone else said it's tomorrow, and I was like, that's better.
Yeah. It's fine. Something to look forward to. Yeah, Leslie's drinking heavily. You know, before Arquen can ask Lesley about his past, Lesley is gonna be like, "Can you really not remember anything from your past? Like, really nothing?"
There's fragments. There's feelings and sensations and various sort of things that I know that I don't know what I was given by my erstwhile patron, if you want to call them that, and what I had before. There's things that, you know, the fighting sort of style that I know, the sort of the sword combat and everything, it feels very like there's a mixture, that there's something that was imparted to me, but that I don't think that's all that I know of it. I think that I was probably at least a partially gifted trained swordsman before this point. But there's things that are more foundational, like when we were in the village where you and I had our death experience, I came across a blacksmith smithy and felt drawn to it. So I picked up some tools and they felt right. So I think that I was probably at least spent some time as a smith. But other than sort of the dreams occasionally, where there are sensations and the like of running and fighting and drinking and laughing and various things, he sort of like reaches in and pulls out and is like fiddling with the music box. It's like, I don't think I was alone before I well, no, so you and I have both done it. Died the first time. No sounds farting about.
Interrupting this conversation as you're doing that, Tauri, Balrick, the individual that you kind of blocked, you suddenly see walking over holding three tankards like held together like this, just like walks past the table during this conversation, glances down, he's just like, Aderyn? By the goddess, I thought we'd lost you! What are you doing here, man? Just like throws the tankards down on the table, like claps Arquen on the shoulder and pulls him into just a full-on hug as this bronze dragonborn just like camaraderie pulls Arquen straight up off the table. Just two beefy men essentially hugging it out, and Arquen there just like, what's going on? It's like, he like pulls down the shoulder and just like, I lost you and Faroth and I thought that was it. Never knew where they were coming. You're alive, man! And just pulls you back in for a hug. And that is where we're going to leave our story.
With a look of sheer terror on his face.
Tankards go spilling from the intense embrace. A few people give a shout as to what the hell is going on, as Arquen just over the shoulder of this guy looking down at the rest of you, bewildered, being hugged by a man he does not recognize. We will pick up our story again next time. But until then, see you later.
Where's
Oh my god.